How much for her? Wine's POV. Is he out of his mind? Or maybe not, because that's what mafias do. I glared at him with disgustful stares, but soon my eyes went to that little girl. She was shivering in fear. That look of terror in her eyes made my heart clench. There are thousands of girls who are living in this fear every day because of these filthy creatures. Can't even call them men. Such a disgrace. Hyung, I still have to explore her, you know. After that, she is yours. Pulled her more into him by grabbing her waist, and little sob escaped from that girl's mouth. I won't repeat. His gaze didn't budge from Leo. Looks like he's adamant on buying her today. What can I do to save her? Yeah. What can I do when I myself is hostage? I can only save her if I am at liberty. And looks like his interest is somewhere else. Let's take advantage of this opportunity. Okay, hum. Leaned towards the enviers. Restroom. Gazed at her, frowning slightly. Huh? I want to use the restroom. Whispered again. It's urgent. Okay, let's go. Whispered back. Are you crazy? Said a little loudly but looked around upon realizing. I mean, it's ladies' restroom. Mumbled. Taehyung looked around and gestured someone to come. A waitress approached them and bowed. Show ma'am the restroom and bring her back to me. Finally lifted his hand from Van's waist. That waitress led Van to the restroom and Taehyung returned his attention to Leo. So, where were we? His tone again went chillingly cold. On the other hand, how can I escape? This girl is standing like a jailer at the door. She took his words seriously. Looks like she won't go back without me. And if I don't hurry up, then he will literally enter the ladies' restroom. He's shameless, I know. Spoke in panic while gripping her hairs out of frustration. I know it's not the right way, but it's the only way. She went towards the door, unlocked it and peeked out. Are you ready to go, ma'am? I might need your help. Looked on embarrassingly. In fixing my dress. Yes, ma'am. Stepped forward to enter the restroom. Van stepped aside to give her the space to enter and locked the door behind. Ma'am, where? Looks at her up and down but can't see anything wrong with her outfit. Sorry. Huh? Confused. Before that waitress could grasp the situation, Van delivered a brutal neck chop that knocked her out in seconds. Van caught her falling body before it could hit the floor and carried her inside one of the stalls. She made the unconscious waitress sit on a commode and immediately ran out. She hurried through the corridors, looking for a way out where there were fewer guards. She struggled to run as her knee was still in pain and Taehyung had made her wear high heels. He knew what he was doing. He knew it. Muttering frustratingly, cursing him openly while breathing heavily. She crouched down as she finally took the decision to take those painful heels off and run barefoot. As she stood straight and ran a few steps without clearly looking ahead, something hard came in her way. She collided with it and nearly crashed to the ground. Easy there, held her by her arm. Who? Jerked his hand away. He was about to open his mouth when she spoke again, making him close his mouth again. It. I need to go. She was about to walk past him, acting not at all suspicious, when he spoke, making her halt in her steps, and immediately faced him. Inspector Cameron. Who are you? Came close to him. Your savior, your knight, looks at himself without the shining armor. You're wasting my time, frustratingly spoke. She clicked her tongue in annoyance and was about to run in the opposite direction, but this time he stopped her by grabbing her arm. What? Agent Junuk. His aura shifted from flirtatious to serious. Wine leaned back and looked at him, still a little suspicious, as he could be lying. Who knows? What are you doing in Mafia Party? Undercover operation. Can't disclose more. Jungkook handed her his phone after he dialed a number. She remained focused on him while holding the phone to her ear. Person on call. Hello? Hobie immediately recognized him by his voice. Vine, are you okay? Weirdly asked. Yes, but I'm coming to you. Don't. You can't, Vine. Why? Frowns. After Chief Inspector's death, new Chief Inspector Kim Namjoon took his place. He is honest just like you and wants to put an end to the mafia's dirty business. You can trust Agent Jungkook. I have sent him. He won't let anything happen to you, but you have to give us information while being with Taehyung. Only you can do this, Vine. After a brief moment of silence. But what about the false cases on my name? Don't worry about it, Vine. We did it so Taehyung and other mafias would assume that you are not on our side anymore. Okay. Sigh. Is he torturing you? On the verge of crying. Worse. Softly whispered. What? Scared for her well-being. Flirt. He flirts with me. Jungkook burst out laughing when he heard her, causing her to scowl at him instantly. I have to go, Hobie. Be careful. I miss you a lot. I'll save you. Just hang on a little. Feeling emotional. Come quickly. I'll be waiting. Saying this, he hung up the call and handed Jungkook his phone back. She sighed deeply, mentally preparing herself to go back to Taehyung and get chained to the bed again. Jungkook looked at her sad expression with soft gaze. You are here for a good cause, Vine. You will save thousands of innocent girls. I know it's difficult, but it will be worth it. The smile on their faces after gaining their freedom because of you will change your life. I have experienced it. It's worth dying for. Vine looked at him for a moment before nodding, putting her heels back on and going back to the place where she ran from a few minutes ago. She crossed the corridors and entered the hall, while her eyes searched for him. Her brows clashed in confusion when she found a different scenario than what she had left behind. Some bodyguards were taking out an unconscious Leo. Someone had shot him in the thigh. Servants were cleaning from the floor, and people were looking scared. She looked here and there to find Taehyung, but he was nowhere to be seen. She became a little worried when suddenly someone blew air in her ear, causing her to poke her tongue in her cheeks and sigh frustratingly as she knew who that person was. She turned around and asked, "Where were you? Trying to escape from you? God has finally heard my prayers." God does not pay attention to nonsense. "When will you change?" asked, being done with him. "When you will marry me." Shook her head in irritation. "Leave it. Where is the girl you looks down to control her anger? Bought. In the car. Let's go." Was about to grab her hand, slapped his hand away. "For how much did you bought her?" Getting angry. "Acting like my wife already? I like it." Chuckled but became serious as he noticed something painful in her case. "For $4 million. Money well spent, isn't it?" Taunted him. "But I made payment in your style. I have learned a lot of good things from you." Huh? Confused. Rather than paying with money, I shot his leg. I looked at him, astonished. Isn't Leo his cousin? And did he shoot him because he bought a girl? No, Wyan, don't you dare to think of him as someone with morals. Or maybe he has some. She snapped out of her trance as Taehyung grabbed her hand again and dragged her out of the party with him. He made her sit in the passenger seat and went on the driver's seat. "Where is she?" Looks at him. "In other car." Looks out a first aid box. He grabbed her hand, which she tried to pull back, but his grip was solid, causing her to hiss in bed. "Your excitement about escaping from me made you forget about your fractured thumb." Started rolling bandage around her hand while securing her swollen thumb in place. I wasn't trying to escape. If you say so. Tied the bandage a little firmly to keep her thumb from moving. "If I wanted to escape, I would have." "Why didn't you want to escape?" Stared in her eyes intensely. "I won't go before taking you with me. Admit it, you can't live without me." His demeanor changed and he again gave her his infamous smirk. "Oh God!" frustratingly yelled while facing the window to suppress her outburst of emotions. Taehyung laughed as if he had accomplished something impossible before starting the engine and driving away. Back in mansion, Van had changed her clothes and now was sitting on the bed thinking, or more like waiting for him. Weird thing she noticed after coming back was he did not handcuff her or lock the door. Why? He entered the room and she looked at him. "Hungry?" raised one eyebrow. Vine shook her head denying, gasped dramatically and whispered. Vine threw him a glare and said, Why aren't you handcuffing me? Kinky. Widened his eyes to portray shock. Vine groaned in defeat as she is now used to his behavior and continued. You did not even lock the door. Aren't you worried I'll run away? You won't. In mind, right? But let's pretend so you don't suspect. I will. I know you won't. Coldly stated. I. She was about to continue arguing, but someone knocked on the door, causing her to stop. Sir, she is refusing to eat. Told about that young girl. Why do all girls refuse to eat? Do you all have any hidden rivalry with food? I can make her eat. Excited to meet that girl. Says the girl who take IV drips instead of food. She just went quiet and looked down, making him panic that she had taken his words to heart. Take went to her room, gestured to the maid. One stood up from the bed and followed the maid. She entered the dark room and looked around to spot that girl. Her gaze fell on a little figure curled up in a ball in the corner of the room. She approached the girl slowly and knelt down in front of her. She cautiously patted that girl's head, trying not to scare her, but her actions had the opposite effect on girl. That girl flinched hard and immediately lifted her head up in panic. Vine's heart tightened at seeing her tear-stricken face. Her eyes were wide open in terror, and tiny sobs were escaping from her trembling lips from time to time. You are safe, softly whispered. No, sobbed. Believe me, you are. Reassured her while tenderly grasping her hand. Please don't do anything to me, begged while crying hard. Massaged her hand to give her comfort. What's your name? That girl did not respond and kept hiccuping while sobbing. It's okay if you don't want to tell. And trust me, I'll save you. Looked at her with her soft, airy gaze. After a brief moment of silence, that girl spoke. My name is Hana, hesitantly spoke. Nice to meet you, Hana. I'm Vine. You can call me Unni as I'm old as. Hana giggled slightly at Vine's surprising statement. I'm 16 years old. And you're not old. Smiled somewhat with teary eyes as she had been trying previously. That's a relief. Sighs in satisfaction. Well, Hana, are you hungry? Hana shook her head side to side, saying no. But I'm hella hungry. You know my fiancé Taehyung? Such a thoughtless dude. Despite knowing my hunger, he did not even ask if I had eaten today. Pouts angrily. Looks down thinking but looks at Vine again. I think maid left food on the bed. You can eat. You are such an angel, Hana. Vine stood up and took the food tray from the bed. She approached Hana again and sat in front of her, placing the tray between them on the floor. Vine started eating and Hana kept sitting quietly. After a while, Vine glanced at Hana who was already staring at her. Looks like Hana's appetite was awakened by seeing Vine eat deliciously. Extended soup in front of Hana. Wanna have some? No, you eat. Taehyung never eats with me since he is always busy. And I hate eating alone. After you came, I thought finally I won't be alone. But looks like I should not expect much. Looks down sadly. No, don't be sad. I will eat with you. Sana started eating and Maya smiled, looking at her pupils, unaware of the fact that someone else was looking at the scene and smiling like an idiot. Thanks, POV. I saw her smile for the very first time. The kind of smile that whispered secrets of madness. A smile that gleamed like a moonlit blade. A smile that captivated my twisted soul in its deadly embrace with its intoxicating allure. A smile that leads me down a path of lunacy and obsession. I can set myself on fire to watch her smile again.